Hey guys, welcome back. Well, there's a problem with digital VTX systems. If you're using Walk-Snail or a DJI 03 or 04, the video from your onboard recording is going to sound like this. But with an audio shim like this inserted between the frame and the battery, your video is going to sound like this. Okay, so let's head back to the bench and see exactly how this works. And actually, there's nothing complicated about this at all. It's just this audio recorder in a neoprene case. So this neoprene case is just 2mm on the bottom and 6mm for the top piece with the hole cut out. And this audio recorder is just a simple one with a USB connector and on-off switch. So that fits neatly into there. That goes onto the drone, onto the top of the drone. And the hole in the top here is just the right size so that's covered completely by the battery, giving a nice good audio seal. So obviously this is not going to transmit over the air to your goggles. I shouldn't have to say it, but I know someone's going to head down there in the comments and ask. So this is for content creators that want to mix their audio in post. So you bring in your video from your VTX or even a Runcam thumb like I'm using here, and then you'd bring in your audio track and you sync them up and mix them together. Now, of course, for a larger drone, like a 5-inch drone like this, you're going to be running DJI Action 2 or a GoPro, and the sound quality is going to be just fine for those. But if you're running a smaller drone, like a 3.5-inch or below, you're either going to be using the recording of the VTX, or you're going to be using the recording of a Runcam thumb, for example, and that's where something like this might come in handy. Actually, let's have a listen to the audio from the Runcam thumb. It's really, really bad. And compare that to using the audio shim. Okay, so how did this project all start? You see, in the beginning, I wasn't even thinking about an onboard recording device, because I saw a video from this guy, and he had really good results just by attaching a wireless microphone to the drone. So I decided to give this a try. Now, I don't have a DJI microphone, so I actually used one of these. So this is a Boya microphone, and it works in much the same way. You've got a USB adapter that plugs into your telephone. And then I just tried taping this onto the drone. I tried taping on top of the battery, and I tried putting it on different positions on the drone, like down behind the back of the battery. And I thought I'd give that a try and see how it goes. And basically this just worked fine at close range, but of course, as you'd expect, being Bluetooth, as you got further away, the audio would just break up like this. Okay, so maybe a DJI microphone will give you better audio quality, better than this Boya one. But really, if you're doing a flight edit, you don't want your audio to break up at any time through the edit, because it's going to ruin the whole video. So I started looking at other solutions, like these miniature audio recorders. And you can pick these up online. Just go for one that's quite small. You don't even need an 8GB, you could just use a 4GB, that's fine. But just have a look at the size and pick one up that's quite small. But you will need to make sure that you get one with an audio setting utility. We'll have a look at this one I've got here. So this one's actually got a setting utility. This is it here, it's just in the root directory. So when you open that up, you get to change some of the settings on the device. And the important ones you need to change is, first of all, the microphone sensitivity. You'll also need a recorder that allows you to do some sort of noise reduction and some AGC noise amplification settings as well. So basically, when you change these settings, it'll actually write a file, something like this. And when the device starts recording, it'll actually use these settings for the recording. So make sure you get a device that's actually got one of those setting utilities. And you will actually need to use that setting tool to adjust the microphone gain and noise reduction and everything, because these miniature recorders are designed to record the human voice, not the noise that's going to come out of this drone. So that's the software settings you're going to have to change. But as well as that, you're also going to have to make some adjustments to the microphone inside the recorder as well. Now, of course, every recorder is going to be different, but what I found is that I needed to add a little bit of padding onto the microphone. If you can see here, this is the microphone here. I'll just get this out of the way. So this is the microphone here with the hole in it. And I actually had to add some padding. This is just some neoprene foam. And I found that adding that over the top of the microphone actually gave the right amount of deadening. And I needed to do that to get the noise under control. But of course, it's going to be a case of testing. Just test your unit and see what you need to do. That's another one. That's one of my test units. Let's have a look at the unit that I ended up using. This is a different recorder. Okay, if we take this out, so you can see I've got a piece of neoprene foam here, and that's actually covering up the microphone. And I needed to use that to get the audio under control. So just do some experimenting and just see what you need to do for your recorder. So the next thing you'll have to deal with is wind noise. So a drone is nothing like an aircraft with a smooth laminar surface. With a drone, you've got the wind coming over the top and it's just buffeting around and making a lot of noise. Now I soon found out that this is going to be a problem, because when I first started testing, I just attached the recording device to the drone, like to the top of the battery or somewhere else on the drone, and you could really hear all of that buffeting noise like this. And the best way I found for dealing with that wind noise is by using this neoprene mount. So with the recorder in this foam mount here, you can see it's got foam all around the edge, which stops the wind noise from coming in from the side. It's got 2 millimeters of foam on the bottom, so that stops any noise coming up through the frame, which there's not much of anyway. And then of course the battery on top isolates it from the top. So for the foam, the 6 millimeter piece I'm using has adhesive backing, but the other piece, the 2 millimeter piece, doesn't have any adhesive backing on it. Now I'm just cutting it out the lazy way here, but you can just use a Stanley knife to cut it out. Actually, I'll put the dimensions on screen up there so you can see what size I'm using for the foam. So just cut it out something similar to that size and it'll be fine. So once I've got the pieces cut out, then I just peel the adhesive backing off and stick it down onto the base. Okay, so I guess this is a part of the video where I tell you there's a link down in the description and you can go to my FPV store and buy one of these. But considering I just spent the last 5 minutes explaining to you how you can make your own, I guess there's not much point. Till next time, happy flying.